Hey guys, welcome to Stuffbox. In this video, I'm going to show you how to deploy WordPress on Google Cloud Platform using Goodaddy as your domain provider. I'll also show you how to install free SSL using Letsencrypt. Now let's begin. Let's go to our Google Cloud console, click on the menu, go to Marketplace. On the Marketplace, you want to search for WordPress, click to deploy. Then pick the third one, which is Google Click to Deploy. This will show you the estimated cost to deploy this. If you just started your 1-year trial, you don't need to worry about this cost until you consume your $300 credit. Otherwise, click Launch. On this, you can put your deployment name. You can put your domain name here if you're going to have multiple WordPress deployment. For zone, you want to pick the zone that's closest to you. I'm in Central. Doesn't matter which letter. For machine type, it's default to small. You can adjust it to micro or have higher CPU. If you adjust it to micro, it's cheaper. I'm just going to put it back to small. Now enter the administrator email. This will be used for your WordPress login. And make sure install PHP admin is checked. For boot this, you can choose SSD. This is about 50 cents more. It's just faster when you restart if you pick SSD. Everything else I'll leave the way it is, except check allow HTTPS. Now we're ready to deploy. This would take a few minutes, so I'm going to fast forward this part. Now that it's done, we can see how our WordPress looks like. We can click the IP address, click the site address over here. We'll open a new tab. We'll also give you a warning. Just click it again. And that's how our website looks like. Now let's go back and log into our WordPress admin. It will give you a redirect notice again. Click it. Now enter the username that we set it, which is our email address. I'm just going to copy the password because I already know my email address. Go back to my WordPress admin. And then paste the password. Now click Login. So the first thing we want to do is make sure our WordPress is up to date. So we'll click Updates. Looks like our WordPress is up to date except our theme. So let's click that and update it. Now that that's up to date, let's update our password. So go to Users, All Users, click our admin username, and then scroll all the way down and generate a new password. Okay, now you have a new admin password. So I'm going to copy and save this, and then click Update Profile. Now the next thing we want to do is point our IP address to our domain. So I'm going to copy this IP address, and then log into my Goodaddy account, which I already have. Go to my DNS. And then if you have an A record there already, you just want to edit it. If you don't, you want to add it instead. So I'm going to edit mine because I have one here. Then paste the IP address under points to. Make sure you remove the HTTP and just have the IP address. Then click Save. The record that we put in usually takes about 48 hours to take effect. But in my experience with Goodaddy, it could take about 6 hours for it to take effect. You might get an email from Goodaddy once the DNS has propagated. While we're waiting for that to propagate, let's add the SSL on our domain. If you are finding value in this tutorial so far, please click the like button and help me out. So now let's open a new tab and type in letsencrypt.org. From here, click Get Started. And then we definitely want the shell access, so click Certbot under Shell Access. Scroll down a little bit. Now over here, my HTTP website is running Apache and on Debian 9. Now to confirm that, if we go back to Google Cloud Platform, you can see the operating system over here. It says Debian and the Apache is the software. So let's go back to Letsencrypt's website. If you scroll down, it tells you the instructions on how to install SSL for our website. So first is SSH into our server. So let's go back to Google Cloud Platform, click on the menu, and go to Compute Engine and VM Instances. It will give you a list of all your VM instances. I only have one. So from here, you can see on the right here, it says SSH. Click that. While we're waiting for that to load, let's go back to Letsencrypt's website and look at the next instructions. It says here we need to install certbot, so let's copy this code. Go to your SSH. Now that it has loaded, let's paste the code here. I'm going to press Command V or Control V on a PC. Now it's going to ask you if you want to continue. Press Y on the keyboard and then hit enter. Now it's finished installing. Let's go back to Letsencrypt. And the next instruction is get and install your certificate. We want the first option. We don't want just the certificate. We want to install it as well. So copy this first code here. Let's go back to our SSH and then paste it there. Then hit enter. Now it's going to ask us for our email address. Put in your email address here. This is for renewal and security notices. Now it's going to ask you to agree on the terms and condition. I highly recommend that you read the terms and condition. I've read it already, so click A for agree. Then click Y if you want to receive email news from Letsencrypt. I'm going to click no here. So this is the part where you enter your domain name. So I'm going to enter my domain name here, which is macguides.ca. Put a comma and then a space. Then www.macguides.ca. Okay, so I made a mistake here. I put .com instead of .ca. It should give us an error message. So I'm going to paste that code again. You can also press the up arrow key to execute the last command. And then hit enter. Then I'm going to type my domain name here again. I'm going to be careful this time. Put a comma and a space and www.macguides.ca. Okay, I think that looks good. Hit enter. Now it's telling us that it cannot find the virtual host for www.macguides.ca, but it can find the one with macguides.ca. This is normal because we only want to create the website under one domain. So we're going to forward our www.macguides.ca to the naked domain, which is macguides.ca. So in this case, press 2 and then hit enter. On this option, we definitely want to redirect all traffic to our HTTPS, so press 2 and then hit enter. Okay, we're done. Now let's go back to Letsencrypt's website and see what the next thing we need to do. So the next thing we need to do is just test the renewal. Our SSL is actually good for 90 days, but it should automatically renew every 90 days, as long as our virtual host is still active. So let's copy this command and then paste it on our SSH, and then hit enter. Great, the renewal is successful. Let's go back to Letsencrypt. Now we can confirm if our SSL worked by clicking on check your site here, but we can't really check it until the DNS has propagated. So for now, we'll just have to wait until the DNS has propagated to check our website. One thing we can do while we're waiting for our website to propagate is going back to our WordPress admin, go to settings, and then general. Now update the web address on both of these websites. I'll put macguides.ca on both of these. Now, if our SSL was configured properly, this should redirect to HTTPS automatically. If you want to make sure, put HTTPS on that web address, and then click Save Changes. This should log us out, and it looks like our SSL is actually working because it automatically forwarded to HTTPS macguides.ca. So let's log in again. By the way, if you're new to this channel, please subscribe if you like Google and Apple tutorials. That looks like it's working. So now I'm going to open another tab. I've actually tested this earlier and it wasn't propagating properly. I'm going to refresh this page. And that seems to work. Yes, then SSL. And if I click on the padlock over here, it tells us the connection is secure. You click on this arrow over here, and it's telling us that it's verified by Letsencrypt. So now we can go back to Letsencrypt's website and check the SSL to make sure that our SSL is actually working properly on our website. So click check your site, and then enter your domain name here, and make sure you check this. I find that if you leave it on the board, your website gets a lot more traffic. It's actually being attacked by a bunch of bots. Now click submit. While this is scanning, do you like Goodaddy as your domain provider? Let me know in the comments below. I personally don't like it, but I'm curious what others think. The main thing I don't like is I have to pay $10 for domain privacy compared to Google Domains, which already includes it. And this is not sponsored by Google Domains, by the way. So I'm gonna fast forward this part instead of us watching the progress. So now I got the overall rating of B, which is normal for our setup. Getting an A on SSL is beyond the scope of this tutorial, but we do know the SSL works because it says over here. Just to make sure that everything works, you want to open a different browser that you haven't used and then type in your website there. That way you know for sure it works. If you want to know how to FTP to your WordPress, click this tutorial over here. If you haven't clicked the thumbs up button, please help me out and click it. And if you have any questions, please leave it in the comment below. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you find this helpful.